Hey everyone, Zaronce here. Just want to make a quick little video just to compare Frost and Unholy. I know that a lot of DKs are wondering which spec to play. Um, Spoiler alert, it's probably going to be Frost. But I want to give some insight into why Frost is performing better than Unholy right now and how to take advantage of that. So the first thing I noticed, I've been playing Unholy most of this season. I played it up until about 2250 in RBGs. And I really enjoyed it, but we kind of hit a wall, and I think part of the problem was solved by me going Frost. And so just to give you an idea, so one of the biggest niches for Unholy in the past has been spread pressure, and that's still an advantage for them, but the difference is so minimal. So you look at my Frost Fever damage as pure Frost, right? So my Frost Fever damage is about 661 average, right? It takes for about 661 each time. Now when you compare that to Unholy and the dot damage that Unholy puts out, and keep in mind I'll be running this with the Super Strain Legendary, so this will put up all three of my dots, right? And with all three of my dots up, wait for him to tick real quick. So it averages 377 for Virulent Plague, 171 for Frost Fever, and 131 for Blood Plague. So quick math, 679 damage combined between all three dots for Unholy. 679 compared to 661. Not to mention that Frost Fever will scale better with Frost Mastery than any of these dots will scale with Unholy Mastery because of that initial Unholy Mastery nerf that happened early on in the season, right? So that's number one. Number one reason why Frost is overtaking Unholy right now is because of that spread pressure. It's not as big of in favor of Unholy as it used to be. That being said, Unholy still has a bit of its niche because of Epidemic. It has a ranged Runic Power AoE, Runic Power spending AoE damage dealing ability, right? So not only is it ranged, but it's spread pressure. So Unholy still has some of that spread pressure advantage, but it's not as big anymore as it used to be. The second reason is because of some of the new abilities that came back with Shadowlands, specifically Raise Dead. So whereas Unholy used to have that additional CC with their pet, Frost now has access to that. So the only real advantage that Unholy has through the pet CC is they have the pet kick, which is kind of a pain to use because you need to move your pet out of range of your target before they can kick them. It has a minimum range, so you have to physically move your pet away from your target before you can actually kick them, or you have to focus on kicking off target. And the stun only adds, I think it's a half second by being in Dark Transformation. So it doesn't really give much of an advantage to Unholy for CC, but in turn, Frost has the new legendary that gives them the Frostworm's Fury stun, which is massive for giving them access to CC capabilities. And on top of that, because you have the stun, you no longer take Asphyxiate. You now take Blinding Sleet, which gives you a 5-second disorient, which functions similarly to a Fear, where it doesn't automatically break on damage. It has a certain threshold before it breaks. So you can see you can pop Unholy Sleet or Blinding Sleet. You can prep your Remorseless Winter, put up Howling Blast to get Frost Fever ticking, and it still won't break. So not only has Frost kind of closed the gap as far as their spread pressure with dot damage, but they've also taken the lead as far as CC capabilities. And as that pet stun is concerned, it's a little bit of RNG, but it is possible to game it and to get it to time exactly when you want, or close to it at least, right? So you can open up on somebody, summon your pet, and then Frostworm's Fury stun. And within a couple seconds after your Frostworm's Fury wears off, your pet will move in and stun them right there. So those advantages that Unholy used to have now favor Frost. Furthermore, if you're playing a DK in PvP, you are most likely Necrolord, and Frost just gives you way more opportunities to actually channel your Fleshcraft and provide that extra defensive CC, or CD, excuse me. Mainly because if you get kicked on Shadow as Unholy, it's really punishing, and it really takes away from your offensive capabilities. Whereas Frost, it's really no big deal. If you get kicked on Unholy, or if you get kicked on your Shadow School, it's pretty much like, alright, cool, I just bought a kick from my healer, so now my healer can free cast a little more. You can still do your whole damage rotation. The only things you can't cast damage-wise are a Bomb Limb, which is probably going to be on cooldown anyway, because you pretty much pop it as soon as a fight starts. That being said, you can't use things like Death Grip, but Unholy literally can't use anything outside of maybe Festering Strike and Scourge Strike. So it's really less punishing for Frost than it is for Unholy. So with all that in mind, that is the reason why Frost has taken over Unholy this season, and why you will most likely see mostly Frost DKs at the top of the ladder. It's not that Unholy is unviable or bad necessarily, it's just that Frost is better. And all the niches that Unholy used to hold, Frost has kind of closed the gap and in some cases overtaken Unholy. They provide similar spread pressure. The only real advantage that Unholy has there is Epidemic. Frost provides better CC now, and combined with their burst potential, it makes that CC even more deadly. And so for those reasons, I believe Frost is the better spec right now, and I think you'll see most DKs running it. And if you haven't tried it out yet and you're kind of sticking with your guns with Unholy, I highly suggest that you try out Frost and give it a shot. That being said, I still think Unholy's decent. I still think it's viable. I just think that Frost brings a lot more to the table right now than Unholy does. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll do my best to answer questions as quickly as possible. If you'd like to see DK in action, be sure to check out my stream, twitch.tv/Zaronce. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. That way I can, feel good about myself. And if you'd like to see more videos, let me know. Let me know what you're interested in. I'll try to record some games, or maybe a Frost guide if that's needed. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and take care.